friends, it's Vanessa. I am going to do a basic hack tutorial for you. I'm just looking for a cheek color to use. I'm going to do highlight and contour. So that is our foundation. And let me show you what I'm going to use. My highlight and highlights are concealers, foundation. That's what those are. Contour, bronzer, lip and cheek. Everything's mixable and multi-use, but let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to use a couple of different brushes that I don't always use. So I'm going to use the detail brush, the buff brush, and the blend brush. This one is a really light fluffy. The fluffier the bristles, the less coverage you're going to get. So it'll be a softer application. Oh, my nose is itching. All right, so I'm going to start with my contour, and I'm going to start with the detail brush, and I'm going to use the small side of this. And I just want to show you that you just kind of really lightly go over the top, or you can dab into it. You're not going to be scooping, and your contour is a stiffer consistency too, so you might feel like you have to kind of run into it, push into it a little bit harder. But also, if it's really cold in your house, or maybe it's getting cold outside, or even if you live in a warm area but air conditioning's been on, sometimes it can make your makeup stiffer. So you can hit it with the blow dryer really quick, and that'll warm it up. So if you'll notice, I'm kind of doing like a number 3. And it's an easy way to remember that you're going to do 1, 2, 3. And then your nose is your 4th place to put contour. So it looks like a number 3. And here's a little tip. If you have a little bit more of a rounder face, like I feel like I have a little bit of a round face, I tend to keep my contour line pretty straight. And I also don't really go past this outside corner of my eye. If your face is really thin, you can scoop this up a little bit and it'll create a little bit extra fullness right here. But see, I already feel like I have that, so I don't need to add more. So I've got that on, and I just went like along the bottom of my jawline. I skipped this area right here because I already dip in there. So that's that. And then I'm going to flip over to this flat side, and I'm just kind of wiggling a little bit on the flat side. This brush is so good for contouring, and especially the nose. So I just kind of lay it on the top, more of the top of my nose, not on the side, because the trick is that you want to make this line that's in the middle as skinny as you can, because that will make your nose look skinnier. Now, if you already have a perfectly skinny nose, you may not want to contour at all. And if you have a little button nose, you may not want to put any on the end, but that's what we're doing there. Now I'm going to grab my buff brush, and this is going to be my foundation. So I'm kind of in between colors. I'm kind of dabbing into a couple right now, but I'm just really lightly pressing in there. I'm not getting a ton of makeup on here. One of the things that you'll notice about this makeup is that it's super pigmented. A little bit goes a long way, and less is more. If you start applying too much, you're going to see texture. It's just not going to look as good. You really only need the littlest bit because it's so concentrated. There's no water in it, so it's not going to evaporate and change colors. So if you notice, I'm kind of tapping it in between everywhere that I put the contour. And I'm just going to get a little bit right under my eye. And I actually use the darker one right under my eye where I'm the darkest. So I've got that on. I want to show you where I put everything before I blend it. You can blend as you go, but I'm just going to kind of show you this way. Then I'm going to grab the blend brush. So this is our lightest, fluffiest, and I'm going to use the small side. And I'm actually going to use my lightest color. So we call this our brightening highlight. And I'm really lightly going to go down my nose. And I like to hold the brushes back a little bit further because you get a much softer touch that way. And then I'm doing the outside corner, inside corner, and on the sides of my nose. So I'm not really putting the light here because that can kind of make it look cakier, especially if you already have any texture there or any fine lines. So can you see where I got that? Okay. And then I'm going to go back to my buff brush, and I'm just going to blend everything. So I'm just kind of patting it in. You can kind of do little swirls if you want. And I'm just kind of blending it into the contour. I don't want to erase all that contour that I have. I want to keep that shadow there. And whatever's kind of left over on your brush, you can totally put on your eyelids just to even those out a little bit. So I'm going to kind of work from the top down. And I think I will skip my nose contour for blending until the end, and same with my cheeks. So it's really easy to use, and it warms up to your skin. So it just kind of melts, and there's not a lot of effort when you're blending. And if there is, you're probably using too much. I feel like it does take your skin a couple of weeks to adjust to this when you're new. I'm just going to flip over and use that small side to blend right there a little bit easier. Because if you're used to using a liquid or a powder foundation, it tends to dry out your skin. And because this is a cream, it never evaporates. It doesn't have water in it to evaporate, so it doesn't dry out. So your skin may feel extra dewy for those first couple of weeks because it's kind of, your skin's a little confused. It's used to trying to build up some oil when it starts drying out, and you don't need to with this. So give it a couple of weeks. You might feel a little bit dewier or shinier for those first couple of weeks. Just set with some powder. And then as your skin adjusts, you'll probably start saying, oh, I don't really need as much powder or any at all. Okay. So if you notice when I did the contour, I made sure that I went up when I was blending that because we want to keep that uplifted, and just lightly on the nose. And then don't forget your jawline and your neck. I forget this a lot and I get in the car and see it. So I'm here to kind of help you and teach you along the way. I love doing live video or private video chat lessons with you so we can do our makeup together and we can see what we're doing, and I can kind of pinpoint exactly where you might need a little bit of help or a little more or less makeup also. And then if you have any blemishes, like I have a couple of blemishes under here, I always address those at the end. So I've got all that on. We can add our cheek color now. I love the fluffy side of this blend brush, the bigger side for cheek color. And I like to put it a little bit higher and a little bit further back. So not really on the apples, but a little bit further up and back. It tends to be a little bit more uplifting. But experiment with that. That's totally personal preference. So I'm just kind of getting it on there. And because this is a light, fluffy brush, you'll notice that I probably dab into this more. If I was using a more dense... Good morning, Carly. If I was using more dense bristles, I wouldn't need to dab in there as much. Okay, so I've got my foundation on. I think I'm really blended. If you're not, just go back and dab and make sure that you've got everything blended. I feel like I could use a little bit extra because my nose is red. But I've got all of that on. And then if you want to address any blemishes, let me zoom so you can see. See, but look at how it still looks like skin. It didn't add any texture. It didn't emphasize my wrinkles at all. It's just beautiful, soft, glowing skin. Let me get a multitasker brush. I love this brush. This is kind of what I love to use to cover my blemishes. You can use it for eyeliner, lip liner. I like to use the bigger side for my eyebrows. I'm just going to show you how I cover these. So I'm going to dab into my darker foundation color. And I'm dabbing directly on these little dots. I'm not going outside of the lines on those. I think that's all I have right now, so yay. And then I'm going to use my ring finger because it has the lightest touch and it warms up, the makeup warms up to your skin. So you really just have to lightly pat it until it sinks into your skin. And then I always set blemishes that I've covered with powder. So I'll just make sure I get those covered. Oh, my nose is so red. Okay, did you want to see up my nose like that? Let me zoom out. And if you want to just touch up a little bit more in these areas, I really like to just lightly dab with my finger. And let me show you how much I dabbed. Like literally one dab. That was it. And then I just kind of get in there a little bit more. The more an area moves, the less makeup you really want to put there because it's going to move. Good morning. Okay, if you have any questions, please ask. I'm Vanessa Short, your Saint Artist. I can't remember if I said that at the beginning. I'll say it at the end again. I'm going to fill in my eyebrows. I'm using my same contour for this, and I'm using the bigger side of the multitasker. And I'm just kind of starting in my arch area because this is where most of us are the weakest. And I like to fill that in kind of lightly. What I love about using the contour for this is that the contour is kind of a stiff cream. So it actually almost acts like a wax too, and it holds your hair in place. It sticks to your skin and sticks to your hair. So if you have some empty spots where there's no hair, you can kind of fill those in easier. All right, so I've got that. You can use this as lip liner. You can use it as eyeliner. There's just really no rules with this in how you use it or where you put it. So a little bit of lip liner. And it's not going to leave that harsh line. It blends out really nice. So I think I'm just going to be kind of easy today, and I'm going to use these same colors as my eyeshadows. So I'm going to start with the lightest one, and I'm going to put a little bit under my brow bone because that's where I would normally put eyeshadow anyway. And I'm going to make sure that I get a little bit in the inner corner, just like that. And then I'm going to take my contour color, and I'll use that in the crease and just above. And I'm just going to use my finger, just being sloppy here. But you'll see how pretty it blends and how easy it is. So this is like just a starter set here, which honestly, you can do everything on your face with it. There's no limits with this. And if you're not ready to get all of this, maybe you just want to try our bronzer on a brush. Awesome. I love just kind of incorporating it in with the products that you already love. Then we can take a little bit of our cheek color. We can even use that as eyeshadow. I obviously need some mascara, but I can use this as eyeliner too. This was my contour color. So I will just run this across about halfway. And I'll also put some on the top. And I'm going to add bronzer. Normally I would use my blush and bronzer brush, which is my kind of my favorite, but I'm trying to use a few different brushes for you today so you can see. So I'm actually going to grab that blend brush that I applied my blush with, the fluffy side, and I'm going to use that for my contour. Because it's light and fluffy, it's not going to get too much on at once. So I'm just lightly going to hit the high points of my face, so kind of where the sun would hit you. And then I do like to bring this down a little bit because my neck is light, and really most of us, it doesn't see the sun right there in the middle. So just kind of ties everything together. And if you feel like you want to add a little bit more cheek color, go right ahead. Like I said, everything's kind of intermixable. I'm going to give myself a little bit more eyeshadow there. I just feel like my eyes are bald, but I think it's because I need mascara. So once you get that on, if you want to grab another end of a brush to really blend that, you can. This is just the small side of that blend. But if you can see, let me put a little bit of this lip and cheek color on my lips. I only use 6 colors for my whole face, and everything is just kind of seamlessly blended. It looks like skin. It's really kind of foolproof. And if you want to make your cheekbones pop a little bit, here's a little trick I like to do. With my mid or my light color, I just take a tiny bit and I run it right where it dips in. And then I just blend it like that. And you'll see when I pull back the camera, it just kind of gave me a little bit extra pop there. Right? All right, mascara, and we'll be good to go. So I get this asked a lot. Saint does not carry a mascara. Our creator, Kara, does not come out with new products unless they're better than what's already on the market. So I'm constantly on the hunt for the best mascara. And if you have any suggestions, drop them in the comments. I would love to know what mascara you use. I have tried dozens, and I really like a lot of them, but I feel like mascara is such a personal choice for people. It's like buying a purse, you know? Like, how many pockets do you want? How big do you want the purse? Do you want to fit another purse inside your purse? Do you need an outside pocket? That's how I feel about mascara, because it's, do you have big eyes? Do you have small eyes? Do you have long lashes? Do you like a big fluffy brush? Do you like a tiny skinny brush? Do you need water resistant? Like, there's all these things. So I don't know that there's one perfect mascara for everybody. But right now, I have been digging this mascara. It was really inexpensive, and you can get it at the drugstore. Do you want to know what it is? I love that I can put a coat on and then it can dry a little bit, and I can come back and add another coat to thicken it up, and it doesn't get flaky at all. But it will dry, so it's not like it stays wet. It doesn't transfer on me, so I don't get dots on my eyelids later in the day. All right, here it is. It's called Maybelline The Falsies. It's like nothing fancy, but I love it. It works so, so well. All right, you guys. I know it's not Thursday, but it's hat day, and I am going to be off on my way to do some hair. My name is Vanessa Short. I'm your Saint artist. If you have any questions about this makeup, you're ready to start your own compact, I'm here to help you pick the right colors. I am a trained professional in color matching. So let me know. Let me know if you're ready. And of course, on my bottom level, I have all my fun eyeshadows and stuff too, so we can set that up for you. Let me know. I'll talk to you soon. Have a beautiful day.